librarian Adriana, and this is library visit number 2. Today we're going to be talking about how to figure out what scholars have said about your specific research topic. We're also going to be looking at your research topic not just as a team, but on an individual basis through some specific lens. We'll be talking about how to do keyword searches on the library's website. And how to structure information searches. Let's go ahead and review our assignment really briefly before we get to it. So, here are the guiding questions for this week's assignment. And the first couple are pretty straightforward, so I'm going to focus on number 3 and on. So, first, we're going to start by going into the database Engineering Village, or if that database doesn't work for your research needs, please feel free to choose a different engineering database. From there, we're going to do some basic keyword searches so I can show you what those look like and how to format a keyword search, how to look for the number of results you got, and figure out if we want to increase those results, decrease them, or if we're good. And we're also going to be looking at the controlled vocabulary in that database, which is an interesting, unique thing for Engineering Village. Well, not unique entirely. And then we will wrap up by talking about APA citations very briefly. So let's go to the library's website, www.lib.utah.edu, and you will go to this databases tab. So you're going to be really tempted to click in that search box in the middle there where it says search everything. Don't do that. Instead, look below to the databases tab in that really kind of mousy gray nav bar. This is the portal to all of our databases like we talked about last time. And because you're going to be using engineering databases, I want you to be familiar with this space and how to get to those databases. If you select databases by subject, this is how you can look at things according to their discipline. So, like I mentioned last time, we have all of the different disciplines of engineering, but you can go to a general engineering collection of our databases here. So today we're going to look at Engineering Village, and I'll scroll down until I find that. This list is, of course, in alphabetical order. Here we go. Pause to read if you have a sec, because this is really useful, just so you know what's inside of this database and whether it could potentially meet your research needs. Because this is a big, broad database about engineering, it should cover all of the disciplines. Let's see how this goes. So, for the sake of this example, we're going to pretend that I'm doing research on the topic of e-waste and landfills. So let's see how this goes if I type in something like e-waste. So, rhetorical question. Is this a good search? I'll give you a second. You can answer. It's okay. I won't judge either way. It's kind of a crappy search. The dead giveaway here is that it's one keyword. And one keyword means we're going to get a lot of information. In this database, we get just over 1,200 records. And I don't know about you, I don't have an interest in looking at all 1,200 of those. So, knowing what my research topic is, I'm going to format my search a little bit differently than I would in, say, Google or Google Scholar. Like you might use natural language when you're searching normally in places like Google. So saying like, how is e-waste handled in landfills in India would be a thing I could type into a database. But databases are a little bit different from Google and Google Scholar as far as how they want you to give them guidance. So they like meaty kind of, let's stick to nouns, nouny keywords. So we've got e-waste, and because my pretend topic is e-waste and how that is handled in landfills in India, I'm going to try to add some more keywords. So what I could do, potentially, let's say I don't want to just limit to the term e-waste, because what if some scholars use different terminology than me? What if, for example, they use the phrase electronic waste? Electronic waste. So I've put into this database e-waste or, in quotes, electronic waste. Now, the reason why there are quotation marks around electronic waste is because I want the database to search for that exact phrase, meaning those two words in that order. You do not have to put keywords around individual words, because then it's just going to sound like you're sarcastic. I'm kidding. And databases don't read sarcasm. So anyhow, I did 2 keywords that are synonymous or related terms, and I went from about 1,200 results to 1,700 results. So not bad. Now, again, this is still too broad because it doesn't really zero in on my specific topic. So I'm interested in e-waste in landfills in India. So I'm going to put in and landfill, and we'll see what happens here. Any guesses on where the results are going to go? Are we going to get more records or fewer records? Pause to guess. Okay. I assume you have an answer. We're back down to the 1,200s. This is pretty good, actually, because it's more specific than just e-waste, which we had previously with 1,252 records, I think. And now this also addresses landfills. But because that isn't the whole story about my research topic, I also want to include India. Otherwise, this will tell me a lot about e-waste in landfills, potentially all over the world, anywhere in the world. These results here should only be those articles that have to do with all of these topics: e-waste or electronic waste, and landfill and India. So now let's scroll down. True, this is still a lot of results, but we're going to pretend I'm okay with that. I just want you to take a look at what this database looks like and how it's different from Academic Search Premier or Google Scholar, or even the library catalog that we used last week. So you'll notice in the left-hand side, we've got the refinements menu, just like in the library catalog, and in databases all over the place. Those margins are the best places to look for information about refining your search. So then beneath that, you can limit to stuff, or you can exclude the following stuff. You can add a term here. I wouldn't recommend excluding terms unless you're getting really, really far away from your topic. Here you have document types. This stuff is pretty standard for databases. Here are the individual authors that this specific search brought up, which universities, organizations they're affiliated with. And this section, the controlled vocabulary section, is so interesting. I'm clicking View More, and you will see all of these controlled vocabulary words come up in this pile of 1,500 or 1,250 something search results, right? So keywords like recycling show up in 795 of those 1,200 results. Waste recovery, all of this stuff could be potentially worth looking at because maybe, just maybe, your specific topic is there. So let's say I'm looking just for how plastics are handled in e-waste, and I want to limit to that stuff. So there I go from 1,200 results to 45. This is so much better. I'm actually willing to look at all 45 records. One last thing I'd like to say here about the controlled vocabulary, like what the heck is it and where do these terms come from? These terms come from the authors and the publishers of all of those papers that have been included in this search. So they are relevant because they're not just the terms that we would use to search for this information. These are the terms that the authors who wrote these papers would use when they are searching for that specific stuff. So controlled vocabulary is a really cool, helpful feature of this database. Anyway, from here you can look at full text, you can search our library catalog. If these don't bring up full text for you, you can always click this Find It button. Let's see what happens here. Do we get full text on this result here? Check it out, we do. That's so dope. If not, we could have searched the library catalog to see if any other databases have it there. Or we can click this Find It button, and that's for if nobody has it. If we, as far as like our libraries on campus go, we don't have it in print or in an electronic format. So this Find It button will check all of our other databases to see which one may have an electronic version for us. If that fails, though, this little window is still helpful. So check that out. All of these, full text available, that will take us down here. So this is going to take us to the same article. These are all different database links. Same article. Now, if we hadn't been able to find an electronic copy, what we can do is request an article. And this is through something called Interlibrary Loan. If you don't access it through a record, you can actually get to it from our library's main website. So on this front page, you would go to Interlibrary Loan, and this is a free service for all of our library users, where if we don't have access to an item that you need, we can borrow it from another institution. So here are my electronically received things, but I can make a new request here for any of these different types of items. Here's one that I requested for a faculty member, and I think I requested this like just a few days ago. I can view it for up to a month and download it and print it and do whatever I would like with this article in that time. And then after 30 days, it will be removed. So anyway, take a moment to sign up for Interlibrary Loan. If when you log into it, it prompts you to like put in your name and your physical address and stuff. Take a moment to do that because it will come in handy later this semester. So that really about covers it. Let's see. To review our library assignment, though, we've covered Engineering Village really briefly. We've looked at the controlled vocabulary, and I would like you to write an APA citation for one relevant and accurate authoritative article that is specifically about the aspect of your technology that you're researching for your team. If you need help with your citations, I'm going to open a new thingy here, a new window or tab, sorry, and I like to use the online writing lab at Purdue, so owl.purdue.edu. This is like my favorite place to go for help with citations. So what you can do is, let's see, this is for MLA, and they also have an APA guide right here. And we will say, got this. You don't have to look at any of this stuff, but what you can do is check out formatting here. And this will give you all of the information that you need to know about like the general format for APA, how to do in-text citations, how to write a reference list for different types of items like articles, books, other print stuff, electronic sources. This is a big one because you're using a database. So rather than using a web page or a piece of online content, you will scroll until you find, let's see, an online database. My goodness, there are so many options here. Wow. Anyway, just look through the bold here. In these all caps, you'll find things like lecture notes, qualitative data. I may have skipped over even. Let's see. A dissertation or thesis from a database, online news article. Here we go. Online scholarly journal article. How to cite stuff. And before my battery runs out, that is all for today. So please take some time with your library assignment. Email me or text me if you have any questions. Again, my name's Adriana, and I'm always happy to talk with you. Happy spring break coming up, or I suppose you're already on it. Enjoy.